The older you get, the more you need to. Transmitter 42. The brutal truth of life is if you win the game and live long enough, you become old. Every phase of life from birth through adolescence, entering adulthood, to your, quote, fading years, unquote. From hobbies to stress management to food choices, you need a plan to make your golden years truly golden. Tonight's discussion covers these topics and more based on recent experiences with our host. Please welcome health coach Kimberley Huggins to Transmitter 42. Welcome back, Kimberley.
Hey, everybody.
So, how do we get to our olden years and live happier lives?
Old and golden?
Sure.
First, I just want to start by saying we're obviously going to talk about the steps that are really important, but there is a certain mindset to being old. And a lot of that is just based on gratitude. That's a whole nother topic for that. We're gonna talk a little bit today about actual things like action steps that you need to be completing to set yourself up for the best success as you get older. And I don't want anybody out there to think, oh, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 65, it's too old. It's never too old. Because your body is meant to heal itself, okay? And we're going to go on a list, and don't try and do everything at once. Like if you hear these things and you're not doing a lot of them, you cannot implement them all at one time because it will be overwhelming and you'll quit more than likely. That's what most people do. So we'll read the list, and we'll spend a little time on each one. Some of them will be easier to do than others. So maybe start there, But everything that I'm going over, if it might sound a little controversial or maybe even judgmental, it's coming from the right place. So,
And we're at the stage of our lives where we need to begin thinking about this in earnest.
Right. And so, but I would just say to piggyback off of that, we've pretty much all been taught our whole lives that you don't really need to worry about getting old until you're 50 maybe, or you get that first maybe unhealthy diagnosis. But the sooner you can start doing these things, you're better off, because believe it or not, like the heart disease that you're going to get at 60 or 50 starts when you're 20 and 30. So it's important to be putting these things that people used to do, okay, back in the day, back in like our grandparents' time or our great-grandparents or even our great-great. They used to do all these things without really thinking about it. Now, part of it was because they lived their lives differently than we live our lives now. But what they were doing was working. And we need to get back to that. So, shall we jump in?
Jump in.
Okay, I'm going to start with number one that is kind of like, well, let me just say, some of these things are going to be like, yeah, duh, no brainer, of course. But if it's an issue for you, you need to fix it. So the first one, and probably I would say maybe, well, certainly one of the top ones that is difficult, okay? You have to work on not being fat. Okay, now that's kind of a loaded thing. I know that comes with a lot of, people would say judgment. People might say uncomfortable feelings. I get it. I used to be 50 pounds heavier than I am now.
Wow, I didn't know you had lost that much weight.
So
she's always looked good, everyone.
Well,
but
thanks, honey. But I don't want you to think of this as a judgment. It's not to shame you. It's just a matter of what is healthy and what isn't. Now, I'm not going to get all caught up in the current, drama of, we're shaming fat people or we're making them feel better or we should just not say anything. Everybody is responsible for themselves. You're going to go through life however you're going to go. I'm just telling you, if you want to live longer, if you want to extend your longevity, and you want to not be in pain and agony, you've got to not be fat. So now, easier said than done. I get it, because I just want to say something about that. First of all, stop giving yourself the out of it's genetic. Because we've talked about on this program before about how that's a really small part of all this. I won't say it's no part, but it is a small part. And I would even go as far as to say that if you're fat, and I mean, that's anywhere if you're carrying an extra 10 pounds to an extra 200 pounds, whatever it is, okay? It's actually not your fault. Now, a lot of people are like, about that. What happens is your hormone system gets so dysregulated once you're unhealthy. Now, it does change, different people, different things. But for the most part, your hormone system gets so dysregulated once you're metabolically unhealthy, which if you are overweight, you are metabolically unhealthy. You just are. Because your insulin is out of control. Insulin's a fat-storing hormone, and that's why you gain weight, because your insulin's high. And as long as your insulin is high, you will keep gaining weight. So when I say it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because you will pay the price for it. Now, you have been exposed over time to all kinds of dysregulated eating. Your body is making you eat because your cortisol is high. Your body's making you, that's the way your body responds. Your body's making you, it's driving you to eat, I should say, not making. It's driving you to eat because your insulin is high. It's driving you to eat because you've been eating ultra-processed food for 20 years, and that food is chemically altered to make you overeat. It actually disrupts your hormones, your satiety signals, all those things, okay? Because the food industry, all they care about is selling you more Doritos. They don't care if you are overweight, if you're going to have type 2 diabetes, heart disease. They don't care about any of that. They just want you buying more Coca-Cola. They just want you buying more Little Debbie. They just want you buying more, fill in the blank with whatever ultra-processed food you love. Ice cream sandwiches. Now we have them, they don't even...
Or whatever they are, sandwiches.
Well, I started to say, now we have them, they don't even melt anymore. So they're not ice cream. We know that. If it was actually real ice cream, it wouldn't be that bad. But it's not. So all of that stuff it conspires, really. It's a scheme. It's a I don't know how else to say it. It's a scheme that works to make you eat more. Okay. So it's just like drugs. It's literally you're addicted. Okay. But now, having said that, that's not your out, because you will pay the price for your addiction. So that's why I say it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix it. So if you're overweight, you're just at an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, joint deterioration, and cognitive decline as you age. That is your future if you don't get the weight off, okay? And it's actually, the reason I want to start with this is because staying lean is one of the single most powerful things you can do for longevity. Okay. And I'm going to insert here, that does not mean that you should go on and get the shot.
Which shot is this?
That would be, I'll just come out right now and say, I am not a fan of any kind of GLP-1 shot. I don't know if I can say any names, so I won't. But there are so many side effects from that. And the biggest thing I see is even if it does help you lose weight short term, and that's all it would do. It's a short-term fix. It's not a long-term fix. It's a short-term fix. The biggest thing is you're going to lose muscle mass when you take that, okay? And that actually leads into our second point, okay? Every year after the age of 30, you lose your muscle mass. It's 1% a year if you're not actively lifting heavy objects, okay? Muscle mass is longevity, which is why taking any of the GLP-1 drugs or whatever is not a good plan long term, because you'll lose your muscle mass, you'll regain the weight, okay? And then you don't have the muscle mass to keep your metabolism up. So you'll gain the weight back quicker, and then you'll have even more. So unless you're planning on staying on this medication for the rest of your life, which one is cost prohibitive, and two, probably not advisable with long-term side effects, because there's a black box warning on it for thyroid cancer. There's multiple lawsuits now from various horrible intestinal things we won't go into. But at the end of the day,
all because the gut is shut down.
Right. And I mean, there's even other things. There's kidney problems. There's liver problems. People have lost their eyesight.
This drug was made for another purpose before it became the craze in the diet world, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them now. There's a lot of different ones that kind of do different things. But bottom line for me, and I've always felt this way, I mean, there have been weight loss drugs in the past. I mean, everybody remember Fen and all that, okay? But the bottom line is, look, you didn't take a pill to get fat. Why are you going to take a pill to get unfat? That's just the way I look at it. And every single medication, even a medication that you absolutely need to be on, okay, there's side effects. They don't tell you all that, but there is. So, and actually, I'll just insert here. This is kind of a little off tangent, but I did come up with it. One of the things you need to do, the older you get, the more you need to stay off medications, okay? The goal should be not looking at it like, oh, well, I'm 50 now. I guess it's just time. I have to take this pill. Time to get on metformin. Time to get on a statin. Time to get whatever it is, okay? The more medications you're on, the more problems you're going to have, okay? So you need to think about, I need to stay off medication as long as possible. That means you're going to have to do the things to stay off medication. Because 9 times out of 10, when you go to the doctor and you have one blood marker out of range, they're going to want to put you on a medication. But I want everybody to understand there's all kinds of side effects to medication. And most medications, when you get older, they're not healing you. They're not making you better. They're just managing your decline. That's straight up what they're doing. So that's a whole podcast for another day. But anyway, we talked about back to lifting weights, okay? You got to do it. You got to, unless you're a person who has a very, like a manual labor job and is really lifting stuff on a regular basis, you got to get in the gym, okay? You got to find the time. It doesn't take a lot of time. Everyone thinks it takes more time than it does. And all you need is 3 days a week. You don't have to be in there 6 days a week. You just need to get in there, few main exercises you need to hit, okay? And so if you preserve your muscle mass, that's what protects your bones. It's not taking calcium. It's not what does it, okay? Now, you do need to eat right, and eat real food, okay? But the single best thing that can protect your bones, and especially women out there, keep you from getting osteoporosis. It's not taking calcium. It's strength training, lifting weights on the regular. And it keeps your metabolism up, which is a fight against diabetes, because muscles are a glucose sink. So when you eat, instead of going to fat, it can go in your muscles. It can't go in your muscles if you don't have muscle mass. This is what happens to a lot of old people. When they get older, they lose their muscle mass, their sugar goes out of control, they fall, they break a hip, 6 months, they're gone. That's just statistics.
Yeah, and my mom was one of those.
So the muscle mass, especially in your legs, okay, it's the strongest predictor of how long and how well you're going to live. So just a little statistic right here. The average American spends 14 years in poor health before they die. So this is the point. Yes, we want to live longer, which we're pretty good at that. And like the medical industry can get you to live longer. But what kind of life is it? Okay, if you have to go to dialysis 4 times a week, you have no life.
Yeah.
If you get your leg amputated below the knee because of diabetes, if you go blind, what kind of life? If you have to be in the bed because you're an invalid, I mean, I don't want to live like that. So it's not about living longer. It's about your quality of life. And so lifting weights regularly is going to do that. And also it protects your independence, because if you can't do a squat or a sit to stand, however you look at it, with your muscles, you can't get yourself off the toilet. And
that is a moment in your life when things change.
Because we've seen it. So you have to be able to, like, if you're going to live by yourself, you have to be able to get off the toilet by yourself. You need to be able to carry your groceries into your house. I mean, even if you get your groceries delivered, you still got to get them in your house.
Right.
Okay. So that's really, really important. So tangent to that, walk daily. Walking is not necessary. Well, it's really not. It's not for losing weight. Okay. It's not cardio in general. It's not for losing weight. But walking has a lot of other benefits. It lowers your cortisol. It improves your blood sugar. It supports your heart health. It's no cost. Just get out and walk. And it's sustainable for life as long as you keep moving. And it's super underrated as a longevity tool. So skipping, just kind of, this is kind of like with walking daily. Skip, going out a little order. That goes along with getting out in nature regularly and sun exposure. So you can take care of all that if you just get out and walk. Okay. So just a little bit about sun exposure. Morning sunlight regulates your circadian rhythm and it helps your body produce vitamin D. That is essential for your immune system. So your immune system will want to tank the older you get. You have to help it. You have to, your vitamin D and your serotonin impacts your mood, your immunity, your testosterone, and your bone density. And getting out in nature, this is the other thing we don't understand. We live a modern life, but our physical bodies, our physiology is still 2 million years ago, or whenever you think humans came to be on the planet. Okay.
Before modern agriculture, well, even primitive agriculture.
Before all that, when we were hunter-gatherers, when we were rising to become the apex predator on the planet. Okay, whether you believe that or not, that's what happened. But anyway. And so just a little fun fact about the spending out time in nature. Now, when I say that, go out and walk. Do not have headphones on.
Yeah.
Do not have now I'm not saying never. I mean, I go out, I walk usually between 3 and 5 miles a day. I don't always. I listen to podcasts sometimes or whatever. But my first 2 miles, I don't. And it's pretty interesting, but they've tested this and tracked this. When you hear nature sounds as a human, you respond to that. So your body literally knows and has been conditioned. When you hear birds, your body says, peace. Because the birds wouldn't be chirping if danger had come. If, you know what I mean? If something had disturbed the forest, the birds would be gone.
Or very quiet and peeping
Right.
very gingerly to each other.
So your body responds to that. So you need to let yourself hear the sounds. Water is another one. If you can walk anywhere near water and hear it, it's very calming. It's very soothing. That's why we all like to go sit at the beach and just listen to the ocean and watch the waves come in. There's a elemental relationship there, okay? We need to listen to that and get back to it. So if you are never going out in the sun, if you are never in nature, if you're never hearing nature, you know, and you don't have to do anything crazy. If you like hike, if you like swim, whatever works for you. But you do need to get out in it.
I'll say this: when I took my mother out, we went to one of the lighthouses near her and sat on a bench and just looked out in the sunshine and enjoyed quiet time.
Yeah. I mean, it's documented evidence it lowers your blood pressure immediately. And this is really important for us because this helps negate all of our screen time we're getting.
Right.
Okay. So,
which is designed to not make us calm at all.
Right. And, you know, we have to do something about that. We're just on it too much. And the more you're on it, the more you're on it. It's just a vicious cycle. Okay. So that kind of takes care of those. I would also say, too, that getting out in nature regularly helps with another thing you need to do to make sure you are creating your best longevity plan is manage your stress. If you're under chronic stress, and this is a lot of men, they don't, you know, they have a lot on them, I think, that maybe you just don't even realize. But that keeps your cortisol elevated. And cortisol elevated over time is not good. It'll make you gain fat in your midsection, the visceral fat. That's like the worst. It suppresses your immunity. It breaks down muscle, actually, so that's not good. And overall, it shortens your lifespan. And it's just biology because we were not meant to have high cortisol. We were meant to have high cortisol when we had to run from the tiger, but we were not meant to stay high cortisol.
So stress raises cortisol. Cortisol is not good for muscle. That's what you just said.
Over time, it breaks down your muscle. High cortisol over time, like staying high.
Right.
Look confused.
I'm just putting it all together.
Oh, okay.
You know, some people wouldn't be able to go from A to C without knowing B.
So, I mean, it's just your biology. You know, we were meant to have cortisol spike. You know, it's tied to adrenaline, okay, to keep us alive. But we weren't meant to stay like pegged at that high level all the time. And how we live our lives now, our bodies are totally under stress because we're all exposed to light we shouldn't be taking in. It's all fake light.
Especially the bluish light at the
blue
end
light.
of the day.
The food we're eating is horrible. The schedules we're keeping are awful. We're not supposed to be staying up till midnight. We're not supposed to be having daylight savings time all year round.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be staying up till 2 a.m. one night, going to bed at 11 o'clock the next night, staying up till 1 a.m., going to bed at getting up, you know. That stresses your body out. Your body wants a schedule. Your body likes it. Know what to expect. Your body likes to be up. You know, your body is conditioned to as a human species. Okay, maybe just not you, but as a human, get up with the sun, go to bed with the dark. Now, no, I'm not saying you got to go to bed at 5 o'clock in the evening.
And I remember that applied to babies as well with Baby Wise and the things that we had to do to get our first son on a schedule.
Yeah.
And once you forced the schedule, everything improved real quick.
Like big time. And then you could have your sanity back.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to social, being on social media or whatever we were talking about, being on your screens, it's important to curate your feed. And what I mean by that, do not pump garbage into your brain all the time. Now, do I believe in sticking your head in the sand about anything? No. But I would say anything out in the world, politics, news, whatever, you can't take it 24/7. At some point, you need to step back and say, now that's why you get out in nature and leave it. That's why you don't listen to anything when you're out in nature. You just leave it. But cure it, whatever's on your feed, make it be worthwhile. Most people are scrolling through drama and distractions, garbage, every day, all day. Your feed trains your brain. If you see, drama, poverty, sadness, whatever, ugliness, angry all day long, that's what your brain thinks is going on. Okay? You need to put on your feed something that is, like I said, I'm not saying Pollyanna or anything like that, but put some stuff on your feed that teach you something. Fill it with people. I mean, I don't know. It's better to look at, a chef. I love to watch Chef Andrew Gruel's recipe. He'll come on and he just makes it, and you can learn something, even if it's a new recipe. But follow something that makes you and your life better, makes you think, it helps you grow, you learn something, instead of the latest Kardashian drama or whatever. I don't watch that, but so that's important. Next, I would say, and this one is, I kind of got out of order there, but going back. So he said, don't be fat, lift weights, walk daily. The next super important one is you've got to prioritize your sleep. And I kind of touched on it, like, you should be going to bed about the same time and getting up about the same time, within an hour every day, even on the weekends, because that's what your body wants. And it's really important because sleep is when your body repairs itself. So poor sleep will accelerate your aging faster than anything else. Your body repairs its tissues. It cleans your brain. Now, that sounds kind of crazy, but it does. It regulates your hormones. If you don't get your brain cleaned, that's cognitive decline. Okay? 20, 30, 40 years, you don't get your brain cleaned. And the crazy thing about it is your body actually does certain things at certain times. Okay? So let's talking about cleaning your brain. Let's say your brain gets cleaned from midnight to, let's back it up a little. Let's say from 11 p.m. to midnight. Well, if you're not in bed then, if you're whatever you're doing, okay, your brain doesn't get cleaned that day. When you finally go to bed, that time for that to happen has passed. So your body just skips it and moves on to do the things it still has time for. So you can see how over time that can be a problem. Now, if you stayed up to watch the basketball championship and you didn't get in bed till 1 a.m. because your team won and you were happy and you were celebrating, okay, yeah, great. You got to live life. Just don't do it every day. Same thing about eating the cake on your birthday. Yeah, that's okay. It's your birthday. But you can't eat cake every day.
Or if everyone's got a birthday in the office every week, you got to watch that too.
Yeah, you do. Okay. This one will be unpopular, but it's true. Limit your alcohol. This is a very hard social and scientific shift because we have been told for many years that, have your glass of wine or have your alcohol drink. No, there's no safe amount of alcohol. There's just not. It's the number one thing, like in the order of oxidation that your body has to go through of substances, alcohol is number one because it's literal poison. When you take it in, your liver goes on red alert and your body is doing nothing but getting alcohol out of your body because it's a poison. Am I telling you to never take a drink? No, that goes back to living life. Okay. Am I telling you not to drink every day? Yes. Am I telling you not to drink to relax? Yeah. You need to find another way to relax. Okay. Now, on the social occasion where you're going to have a drink, whatever that may be, some drinks are better than others. Okay. This will be unpopular, but beer is the last thing you should be drinking. It's liquid bread, literally. Okay.
Because it's carbs. It's basically made from.
Right. So if you want to know, like, if you have to choose, get yourself a drink with vodka, get yourself a whiskey. Okay. Those are like the best choices. Nothing with mixers, nothing with sugar. Like, sorry, pina colada, whatever other drink. I can't think of them because I'm not a drinker. But leave that for, for everyone else. You can do. And I would also say you have to understand that if you're trying to change, you're trying to make changes in your life. Okay. When you drink, and we all know this, you don't necessarily make good decisions once you get a drink or two in you. It's that much easier to have another one. It's that much easier to eat all the wrong things that you don't want to eat. And we won't even get into other mistakes you could possibly make if you just keep drinking. So I'm not trying to be some teetotaler or whatever, but you just have to decide what's more important to you. To extend your lifespan, to change what you're doing, to lose some weight, or to keep drinking. It's just a choice. So,
How are we doing?
Hard turn, I guess, back to, okay, let me just say one more reason about alcohol. It's not just about drinking. It does, the biggest thing alcohol does that people don't get, it disrupts your sleep. Now, people think you drink and you pass out, but what happens is you don't go into deep sleep. You feel like it. Like when you get up in the morning, you feel like it. No, that's hangover. Okay, but you didn't get your deep sleep. You didn't let your body heal itself. You didn't let it do all the things. The other thing is it wrecks your gut over time. So it just accelerates the aging process at the cellular level. So that's why you should limit it as much as possible. So this one is more of not about food, drink, or anything like that, but spend time with loved ones. If you're already doing that, great. You're ahead of the game because it really does matter. Some latest research has come out now that loneliness, and this is really interesting. We were talking about this earlier. We're more connected than ever, but people are lonelier than ever, like in the history of humanity. And they've done studies. Loneliness is as deadly as smoking. It's kind of the equation. They figured how to explain it. So if you can have a strong social connection, now it has to be real. None of this fake stuff. Like your followers on TikTok or Instagram.
It gives you purpose? Is that the way to put it?
I don't know about that. I mean, that's part of it maybe, but you just feel like somebody cares about you. I mean, your followers on Instagram, let's be real. That's not people that care about you. I mean, it would be nice if it was, but that's just not reality. So your circle should be small because those are true friends. I mean, like there's a saying, you can go through your whole life and your real friends you could probably count on one hand. That's probably true. So that's way more important than fake friends. Keep learning new things. That kind of goes back to curating your feed. I mean, you need to keep your brain sharp and learn some new skills. Yes. Educational posts, okay? That will make you better over time. It will keep your brain sharp. It will make you
education will what?
Posts. Like if you're on your feed, okay,
right.
how being read things that will, and you can find what works for you. Like you might not be interested in science. Maybe you like history. There are posts on X that like, they literally are just like a historic picture of something and they tell you about it every day. It's just a different one. And it's like a little history lesson with whatever the picture is. Or if it's like, say, a picture of the Grand Canyon, it'll give you a bunch of facts about the Grand Canyon. So, let that stuff be in your feed instead of junk or instead of people complaining all the time. And dare I say it, read a book and not on your device. Get an actual hardback. Well, it doesn't have to be hardback. It could be paperback. Get an actual real copy of a book because believe it or not, your brain responds differently to that than when it's on a device. So go back to reading. And if you think you hate reading, you just haven't found the topic you like yet. Might take a little while, but you can find it. There's plenty of book clubs out there. You can find them online where you can talk about the book. You read on your own at your own pace. All kinds of ways to do it. So that leads to have hobbies. And have hobbies that have nothing to do with work. Work should not be your life. Okay? Play it's neurologically necessary to your body. Going back to your stress level, that brings your cortisol down because your body knows you're safe. If you have time to play, you're safe. So it can bring your cortisol down. So that should be, when I say you need a hobby, it's something that you do for pure joy. Like you're not doing it for the money. You're not, you're getting something out of it, but you're not necessarily, you just enjoy it. You just enjoy doing it, whatever it is. And it will give you a good way to think about it. It gives your life something that money can't buy. So, and that could be a hobby that you have with a kid, maybe, so that you can be checking off 2 boxes, spend time with loved ones, a hobby you have with your kid. It's important. Throwing the ball around, building a Lego, whatever, something like that. This one's kind of complicated. So if you're doing any of these, if you're starting, I would not start with this one. But I would also say, if you do some of the other ones, this one might take care of itself. And that's protect your gut health.
Okay.
So believe it or not, and I remember I was one of those people. I used to laugh at the idea that your skin breaking out could be related to your gut. I just thought that was such craziness. But it's all true because your entire body is related. It doesn't work. Parts that like your heart doesn't work by itself and your liver doesn't work by itself. It's all a machine that works together. And if one thing is messed up, it's going to impact everything else. So your gut influences your immune system, your hormones, your mood, your inflammation levels. Over-the-counter meds wreck it. Antibiotics wreck it. So what you feed it daily, this goes back to how it's impacted. What you feed it daily either slows aging or speeds it up because it's either helping your gut with its microbiome or it's hindering it. If you have been on medication a lot, especially as a kid, you might still be dealing with the fallout from that. I mean, I took antibiotics all the time when I was a kid. Of course, when we were kids, I gave them out like candy. I remember my dad saying to me, well, did you take him to the doctor? Just make sure you get a pill so he'll be better.
Right.
So most of your serotonin production is in the gut. Okay, well, that's directly related to, are you anxious? Are you depressed? All that. It can affect so many things. But if you can get your food right and get your walking and lay off the alcohol. That'll help with your gut health a lot. I think we're kind of getting to the end here.
I want to add.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about oral health the other day, and my coworker has just got into a heart valve operation. Apparently, it was successful. What they can do now is really, really quite amazing. It wasn't open heart surgery. Anyway, the new valve is in. He had a few complications, but one of the instructions he got from his doctors was, okay, when you go to the dentist, you must take an antibiotic. I was like, why? It's apparently the fauna or whatever that's in your mouth.
Your biome, the bacteria.
The biome, thanks, can go straight. I guess your heart is very sensitive to that if it were to break the blood barrier.
It is. And it is, they have found, one of the reasons they say this is they have found people with cardiovascular disease or have a heart attack or whatever. They find mouth bacteria, like stuff that should only be in your mouth, in the heart. They've also found it in your brain. And like, I don't really understand them. I don't even know if they understand why yet. It's kind of a new thing they're looking into. But yeah, it is a problem. So as you get older, that's why you still got to go to the dentist. You still got to keep your, like, you can't just let your teeth start to rot out of your head because that's going to cause another problem. Okay.
Well, Dave did ask an interesting question because he's very good with his oral care. In fact, he scrapes a lot, which is the same issues every day of the year. So he was like, I'm supposed to take this forever? It's like, I guess not, Dave. But the fact that they even brought it up for the actual dentist cleaning at least suggests that the medical world is well on board with this issue.
Right. Well, I would also say just about something like that. So they know it's a risk and but I would say, like, for acute care, which a heart operation is, okay, it's acute care. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world than a good old US of A.
Right.
We do acute care great in this country. Your kid's playing football and breaks his wrist, you go, it's taken care of, okay? But chronic disease is a problem. And it's a national security problem because we're already bankrupt technically, but the medical bill that's going to be coming due in the future is going to crush us. Because
of the general bad state of health in America.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because of, in part at least, the food system.
Correct. And it's not being solved because there's too much money in it. There's money in it for big food, and then there's money on the back end for big pharma.
Oh, so, like what you did there.
So you have to look out for yourself because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save your family, your kids, nothing. And right now, our children aren't going to make it as long as we do. They're aging faster. I'm sure you've heard where people are getting colon cancer younger and younger now. It's ridiculous. Like 30-year-olds.
That has to be due to the food.
Well, it is, but inactivity is part of it, but food is the big part. But if you're getting cancer younger, that means biologically you're older than your age. Okay? So we're killing ourselves. We're older than we should be physically. Now, the good news is you can have a lot of impact. If you change, like the body can heal itself. I don't want anyone to say, well, I'm this far in, so what good is it? It's a lot of good, okay? There are plenty of people, back to, we've talked about this before, like type 2 diabetes. That's not just something you have to accept. Like, oh, well, I'm old. I got type 2, and my dad had type 2, and it is what it is. No, type 2 diabetes is 100% controllable with diet. Now, I know some people don't want to hear that because it's taken as a judgment or it's taken as and I'm not even saying it's easy. It is hard to change habits. It's hard to change food habits because, one, we talked about you're being drugged, okay? So that in and of itself is hard. But then we eat for everything in our society. We eat when we're bored. We eat when we're happy. We eat when we're sad. We've been conditioned to think you got to feed your kids every 2 hours, which is ridiculous. You don't need to be a grazer. Nobody should be grazing. All that's doing is spiking your insulin.
Right. If you feel compulsion to graze all day, that's your first clue that something's really wrong.
Right. There's a problem because that's not how. Because think about it. When humans were hunter-gatherers, there were days they didn't have food. You know, they couldn't go to the nearest Aldi and get their mango. It didn't exist. Okay. And they either hunted and finally found probably some animal that had been killed by something else and ate that, or they went hungry. Maybe, I mean, like the average hunter-gatherer probably ate 2 times a week if they were lucky. So I'm not telling you have to do that, but I am telling you if you want certain results, you will have to make the changes because no one's coming to save you. It's just you. So, little side note, back to we were talking earlier about oral hygiene and how important it is. So, bacteria from gum disease will enter your bloodstream, okay? And that's how it gets to your heart. And if you have gum disease, it's a 2 to 3 times higher risk of a cardiac incident, okay? And that's also related because chronic oral infection creates chronic systemic inflammation in your body. And constant inflammation is what leads, I mean, one of the things, but it is a big one, that leads to chronic disease. And your mouth is a direct pathway to your cardiovascular system. So super important.
So that advice that was given to Dave sounds like it's not just for heart patients with a valve in them. It sounds like it's good general advice for heart health.
Well, I would imagine, yes, correct. But I would also imagine they're very concerned about why that they just did that procedure. So they don't want anything starting there.
True, but those instructions were for the rest of your life.
Oh, I see.
Every time you go to the dentist, you must take an antibiotic.
Right. And then so I would also say, because some people do this, you can't get older and just stop doing the things. So,
right. Well, I'm getting slower now, so my fading years, yeah.
Yeah, you can't say, well, I'm 60, I don't need to go to the dentist anymore. No. I mean, and you still need to have your checkups. You still need to do all the things. And if you have a health problem, okay, and I can speak this from experience because my mom did this, okay? She ignored teeth issues for a year. And what's even crazier is she has cardiovascular disease. So really a dumb move, okay? They just get bigger. If you ignore them in your 50s, that will be the super big, awful problem when you're 70. Okay? So and to lead into, back to my mom, because she's horrible about it. I mean, a lot of us are about different things, but you've got to ask for help early as you get older. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, okay? The older you get, your pride becomes a health risk.
Oh, wow.
Okay? You have to be able to say, I can't do this. I need help. Because if you think you can do everything by yourself and you get up on the step ladder at 70 and you fall and break your hip, the statistic is 6 months. That's just numbers. So it's okay to say, can you get this for me? Can you take me to the doctor? Can you take me to the dentist? All important things you need to realize, because this is the thing. As much as we want to age and have all of our control and have all of our independence, it's not reality. Now, we want to do all these things we talked about so we can be as independent for as long as we can. But in reality, most of us are not going to be fortunate enough to be 85 years old, lay down to go to sleep, and pass on to our reward. For most people, it's going to be a slow decline over many years. You want to try and mitigate that as much as possible, but it doesn't mean it's not coming. And it does mean at some point we're all going to have help. The large majority of us will have to have help at the end. The better you are prepared, the better off you'll be.
Agreed. So, some listener mail.
Yay!
Yes, we did receive some feedback from our podcast. Some were actually tuning into the shortwave broadcasts. Actually, most of them are.
Good comments welcome. Bad comments aren't.
We'll take any constructive comments. Thank you very much.
Not me.
One was from a listener who was basically asking a simple question about olive oil. We've talked about food and the labeling and how the RFK Jr. is trying to get truth in labeling. He simply asked, where can you get real olive oil? And we replied via U.S. mail. That's what he wanted, a letter. He actually sent the SASE, and we sent it back to him, basically in Italian.
Villa Capelli.
There you go.
I think that's it. Is it Capelli or Capellini?
Point being, that was important because seed oils are creeping into everything, and the labeling doesn't necessarily tell you that. They're being very sneaky, all in an effort to make things cheaper. And from what I can tell, what was once a pure product gets sold to a company, and the first thing they do is, okay, how do we take this name and continue to harvest the name for its goodness while making the product less good?
Correct. And just on a side note now, he just recently came out with this survey they got from UC Davis, and 100% of the mayonnaises, I think it was 100% of the salad dressing, 70% of the mayo, and then there was something, the chips. It was like 90% of the chips that all these products said they were made with avocado oil was adulterated. So it's really seed oils that they're making these products with. They're saying it's avocado oil. And the way the companies dodge it, they get the oil from a third party. And the third party says, this is your avocado oil. And then they make the product. So they say they're covered, but they're
Yeah. There's an outfit out there that does oil testing, if I recall, right?
Yes.
So they can't hide. Eventually they get outed. But in the meantime, buyer beware. It's up to you to do your homework if you care about it. And you should, because that will lead you a longer, happier life.
Well, I would just say that's hard when you're being lied to, because currently that's what's happening. So make sure if you get a chance, push for truth in labeling. Push to have the GRAS, whatever system, done away with. More on that on another day, but we got to get rid of that.
That is one of the principal fights that RFK Jr. is doing. If nothing else comes from it, if they would get that, we'll be in much better shape.
Right. Make whatever product you want, but I want to know what's in it.
We have an email from Donald. He goes, I really enjoy your podcast with Kimberley Huggins. Listen to almost all of them, but I haven't seen any updates on your website since January. Please keep making it. You were good at it. Thanks very much, Donald. Yes, we took a break for a while. We were doing a whole lot of things in spring, family, issues and such things. But with this podcast right here, actually,
we're back.
We're getting right back into it and getting out of reruns. But thank you, Donald, for that message. And Andrew, he says, just want to thank you all for taking the time and effort to put your broadcast on the air with much needed information. Thank you, everyone, for reaching out to us. Any final thoughts, Kimberly, on longevity?
Just remember, it's up to you. Don't listen. There's so much coming against us. And I'm not saying every doctor is horrible, but you can't just listen to a doctor. You have to take control for yourself because you're the only one that's got skin in the game.
You mentioned before that your doctor is not supposed to be your boss, but your advocate and your partner.
Right. And if you have a question about something and he gets angry with you, that's a red flag. And the answer, if you walk in there and you say, okay, I'd really like to try and get off some of this medication, and he wants to give you a bunch of excuses on why you should stay on it, no.
Or dare to ask them, what are the side effects of this?
Right. Or if you walk in there and you say, I want to get to the root cause of this, and they blah, 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 blah. No. They should want you to get off the medication. I mean, it's like in the government for so long. You know, the goal should be to get people off welfare, not get more people on welfare. It's the same thing with your health. The goal should be to get you off medication, not on more medication. Okay? And I would even say for diabetics that the hard thing is they'll tell you that this will help you. Okay? But over time, if you don't change something, you're just going to need more medication. It's a slow swirling pool of just, it's not healing, it's managing.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't just, it's not, I mean, I'm not like 100% against medication. I mean, obviously if you need, you get a injury to your leg, you cut your leg. No, I don't want you to like get gangrene. So obviously you take an antibiotic, but medication should be the last resort. It certainly shouldn't be taken to manage a condition that you can fix by eating correctly.
Yeah, I'll say this about doctors' assumptions on their patients. As I get older, I'm noticing a different approach to me. The nurses talk to you like a child. And then the doctor was dealing with a skin thing I have on my hands, and he was changing two things to say, change these two things. And I was like, well, how do you know which one changed things? And his whole demeanor changed to me, and he figured out I was an engineer and not really fooled by this. And I was like, well, you should have just assumed that I was intelligent enough to know that two variables don't make for an answer when you're trying to do tests.
Well, yeah. So back to your point. Okay. I don't know about now, but we learned the scientific method in middle school. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, I do understand from a doctor's point of view, they have plenty of people that are not going to change anything in their life. That doesn't mean you don't deserve to know the truth.
Advocate for yourself and make sure they know that you care.
You're plugged in.
You're plugged in. Well, thank you, Kimberly, once again for another great podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Transmitter 42 podcast. If you would like to send us feedback or suggestions, please email us at radioshow@t42.am or send a note via U.S. mail to Transmitter 42 LLC, P.O. Box 100, Remington, Virginia 22734. All our podcasts are available for your favorite player. Visit t42.am for our catalog. Transmitter 42.